What's up, everybody? Mike Otto here. Hey, today I want to talk to you about how I was able to sell homes as a buyer's agent without ever leaving the office or stepping foot in that house. I was actually just reading an Inman article that had a similar title, and they were talking from the perspective of a listing, how to sell a home that's a listing in this time of COVID without having to step foot inside. And I thought, well, wow, that's really funny, because I was able to do that as a buyer's agent with several homes and several customers. Never even saw the house, but had a system in place for them to be able to bring it to me and have me write it up. And so I wanted to share that with you because it's really a cool process, and it's something that most agents would never even consider would be possible. How do you sell a house as a buyer's agent without stepping foot inside the sucker? Well, that's what I want to tell you today. So as we get into this, if you haven't already, go to marketmakercall.com. Watch a short video on how we generate leads for you, nurture those leads in a way that elevate your status, authority, and the mind of those leads, and then ultimately deliver them to your calendar as an appointment. Again, marketmakercall.com. Check it out. All right, plug over. So in order to do this properly, what you have to have is you have to have basically the ability to have a system that brings you leads, right? You have to have enough leads, because the thing that's so hard in the real estate space is basically, you know, if you don't have enough customers, you're going to always be concerned about having enough customers, which means you won't be able to do the things that I'm going to try to prescribe to you that I used to do in order to achieve being able to literally sell somebody a house without ever getting out of your office, right? Awesome gig. Now, I didn't do it in a way that was nefarious. I did it in a way that was a benefit to the customer. So really, again, step one, you have to have, let me get over here. You have to have the volume of leads. So you have to have enough leads coming in to where you can raise the bar in the way that you do business with them. We can't raise the price, but we can raise the bar, right? And so what I mean by that, I'm going to get into shortly here in a second. The next thing that you have to have is you have to have some specific benefits of doing business with you above all other options, including doing nothing at all. This is called the ability to convert those leads, right? Convert them into a face-to-face appointment. So you have to be able to have face-to-face conversion strategies. Now, when you're face-to-face, what I like to use was the ability to have a presentation that told them about all of the benefits of doing business with us. Now, this takes some time to do. Obviously, you don't have to do it, but when you get enough people coming in as far as leads are concerned, and you get enough face-to-faces because you got that conversion mechanism really down and on point, the problem is you still have so many people to deal with, right? You don't have enough time. And so what I did is I raised the bar, so to speak. I said, all right, well, if I'm gonna work with a buyer, right? I want them to be committed to working with me. I want them to sign what's called a buyer's agency agreement in my market, right? Buyer's listing, people call them different things. I want them to commit to me. I want them to be pre-approved, and I really want them in this area and price range, because I don't want to drive all around town anymore like I used to do when I was just starting to, you know, kind of figure the business out, right? Like I want to be able to say no to this area, no to that area, places that were, you know, more than 30 minutes of a drive for me. And so as you do that, there's other things that you can do to raise the bar, right? You actually can raise the price. You can charge a little bit more for your services if you're good and you have more benefit to them, which is the main point of this, right? The benefit to them has to be clearly articulated. And the way that I would do this is once they signed a buyer's agency agreement, knew they were mine, got them pre-approved, also knew they were mine, right? I would then commit to making sure that they got access to the latest listings on a consistent basis. And what I would ask them to do, right, is simply go drive by and look at them. That's it. That's the secret. You can't do that though if they're not committed to you, they don't have a buyer's agency agreement, and they've never been approved, right? Because what's the point? And so I would say if you're comfortable, what I'd like you to do is, rather than have me, a hungry salesperson, leaning over your shoulder, go drive by and windshield them. And if you like one, I think we could agree that a lot of them you'd be able to tell whether or not you'd be interested by just pulling up to the outside. Do you think that's fair? Oh yeah, definitely, cool. So what I'd like you to do is when you see one that you like, call me right away and let me know that you're interested in it, and I'll get us a showing scheduled immediately. Well, what happened in that process, and especially because I had so many of these three things dialed in, right? So many people coming in, so many face-to-faces, so many presentations where I'd get them through the buyer's agency, get them through the pre-approved. They would literally drive up to some of the houses. And again, it was only because it was positioned as a benefit to them, which is the key takeaway here, right? You don't have to have some hungry salesperson breathing over your shoulder. Which, in retrospect, I probably could have communicated that a little better. It's probably not the best thing to think about me. They're seeing that come out of my mouth and looking at my face. Anyway, enough of that. If the house was an open house, or the house was being shown by another agent, right? They would call me and they'd be like, Mike, we just got out of this place and we want it. Can we come to your office and write an offer immediately? There was an open house there. There was another couple showing with their agent, and we asked if they would be okay if we just kind of walked through, and I could hear them. They wanted it, but so do we. Can we come right away and write an offer? And so I was able to literally sell houses as a buyer's agent without ever leaving my desk in this capacity. Now, honestly, it's not a super scalable model, but I mean, maybe somebody could make it one because, you know, the happenstance of it being an open house or somebody being there showing it is not something that you can predict, but it is really cool. And the main point, the key takeaway is the only reason why it mattered and happened, and I'm sharing it with you, is because of the fact that if you communicate to someone the benefit to them of what it is you want them to do to help you both get to the mutual goal, you're going to be able to have a lot more conversations, a lot more opportunities, and a lot more situations like this. Key takeaway is the conversion and the ability to communicate a benefit of what's in it for them in doing business with you, even if sometimes it's outside of the norm. You know, most people would never think to ask their client to go drive by and look at a house because they'd be too afraid to lose them. So there you have it. Hopefully that added some value to your day. I know I had fun sharing it. Again, if you haven't already, go to marketmakercall.com. Check out how we can help you with all those things that I mentioned before. Thanks so much. Make it a great day.